Hello, we got a lot of requests to repeat the form of the video we did yesterday where I solved the super-fiendish sudoku from the Times. So I'm going to solve today's super-fiendish. Just a request, if you do like these videos, please do subscribe to the channel and please tell your friends about us. We're trying to get our viewing numbers up at the moment, so any help you can give us in that regard would be most appreciated. Right, without further ado, let's have a look at this puzzle. Okay, first thing that hits me when I look at this puzzle is that it doesn't look like a super-fiendish geometry to me, because look at these long strings of 5 numbers in rows and columns, which are incredibly useful. So you can see we can write a 9 in here immediately. And remember this form of notation we recommend. So we recommend that in a 3x3 box, if you find a number can only go in one of 2 positions, then you mark it with these little numbers like I've done here. And you should go through the puzzle just gradually making these marks, and they can lead to a lot of good things happening during the course of the solve. Let's see, I'm not doing anything clever at all here at the moment. I'm just literally filling in given numbers and notes where I see the opportunity to do so. X 9 5 9 5. Okay, where you get these little square boxes here like this, definitely always be scanning the open rows and columns. They can often be the source of useful information. You can see we can write in a couple of 8s up here like this. One of the things that's awkward about this sort of pattern is you often get left with trying to spot what I call a naked single. So for example, I've just spotted one which is in the central row here. You can see in this row we need to place a 1, 2 and a 3. And we have a 1 can't go here and a 1 can't go here. So in fact the 1 is here. There's no real technique to spotting that other than working hard with those rows and columns where you have a lot of information already in the grid. There is an element of luck, certainly in terms of speed solving, to spotting those things quickly. I'm afraid I can't give you, more tips than that. Here, one of the things I'm looking at is that I have a 4, 5 and 8 sort of in this little box shape here. Now if I can fix one more number into this box shape, then those 4 numbers would be sort of complete, in the sense that there would be 4 unknowns and 4 positions. So I would know that some combination of 4, 5, 8 and the other number would have to go in this little box shape here. So I'm certainly on the lookout for that now, especially when you've got these long strings of numbers. In fact, there we go. So if we look up here using the 2s, you can see a 2 is going to get fixed into this little box here. Now, annoyingly, although we recommend this notation, I can't really use it here because a 2 can go in any of these 4 positions. So all I'm able to do is just note this fact that the 4, 5, the 2, 4, 5 and 8 have to go in this area here. And then I'm immediately scanning down. I've got the 2, 4, 5, 8. The other number is a 7. So I can write a 7 into those 2 positions like this. Similarly, let's go across this way, and you can see I can do the same thing with the 3 here. The 3 is going to check these 3 positions. I know these 4 squares contain the 2, 4, 5 and 8. So there has to be a 3 here and here, like this. Rather irritatingly, it's not actually going to open up the puzzle for me, but certainly it might do later. That might be an important step. And in fact, now, because I'm focusing very hard on this box, and I can see I have 2 9s up here. Now, although I don't have any 9s in this box or this box, I now know that the 9 in this box here is going to be in one of these 3 squares. So I have a 1 and a 7 and a 9 in these 3 squares, i.e. 3 squares and 3 unknowns. Okay, so I now know these 3 squares are 1, 3 and 9 in some order. Therefore this square here has to be a 6. That's the first deduction we can make. Let's just follow it through in terms of making our notes as well so we don't miss anything. You can see that allows me to write a 6 down here. I should certainly do that. And the other thing, of course, it allows me to do is to say, okay, I can put 6s in here because we know this is 1, 7, 9. We know this is 2, 4, 5, 8. So the only things that can go in these 2 squares now are 3 and 6. So now here we've got 1 and 9 need to go in these 2 positions, and now the puzzle is going to break us open because we have a 1 here. Therefore this cannot be a 1. The only place a 1 can go in column 7 is in this position. So let's write that in. Let's remember now that allows us to make our notation with 9 like this. And we know this square here has to be a 9. And let's write that in. And if we look at column 1, you can see we need to place a 1 and an 8 in here. So again, I'm seeing the 1 over here. It's sort of checking this position. So this is going to have to be the 8. This is going to have to be the 1. That means that we can immediately write that 1 in there from our earlier pencil mark. And we can write a couple of little 8s in this box here. Should get very good at sort of looking at open squares here. You can see this is 1, 2, 4 immediately. You can see the 4 here, so we can write 4 in. Again, you can see how making our pencil marks here is very helpful. We've now immediately been able to locate this 4, 8 double in the central 3 by 3 box. And we're looking for a 1 and 2 in these positions. Well, that's now resolved. We can do this like this. That resolves this 1 up here. I suspect the puzzle's cracked now in the sense that I think that we've probably done all of the hard logic that we had to do in order to really crack it. So 3, 7, 8 are the open cells here, which allows us to place these like that. And almost certainly, when you identify like this sort of pattern in a box, you must try and use this fact. It's almost certainly going to be helpful in terms of the solve. So let's just see whether we can hone in on anything in this central 3 by 3 box now. We need to place, what's that going to be, 2, 3, 6 and 7 into the open cells. So let's see how we can write a 2 into those positions. We can write a 7 into those positions, which allows us to put a 7 over here like that. We do anything with the 6s there? Yeah, we can like that. I think that's as far as we can go. Actually, we don't quite have enough information with the 3s to go further. Now I'd probably be looking at row 6 now, bearing in mind that we've got this 4 and 8 pattern here. So we've got 2, 6 and 7 to place along here. And in fact, that's not going to be, we can't resolve quite what's going on in these cells yet. Oh, now, but if we look down here, we've got a 3 here now, so that resolves that 3 there. That might help. I can do some pencil marks over here. Okay, so this is 7 and 8 in some order. Again, we need to use this. So we've now got 5 and 6 to place in these 2 positions. You can see there's a 6 up here. So this has to be a 5. This has to be a 6, and that's going to allow us to place a 6 into one of these 2 positions here. Let's write that in. 5 can come out. We can do pencil marks for 2s there. So, oh, not 2, sorry, we've already got 2s in that box. You can see now we can place 5 into these two squares here, and that's very useful. Now this has to be a 4. These two squares have to be 4 and 9 in some order. Let's write that in. Let's try it. Oh, and you can see here now we're able to place a 4 here and an 8 here, which allows us to place an 8 immediately here. That means we can place the 6 immediately, and we have to make this a 2, I think. And now, scanning up the grid, we can now place a pencil mark 2 in this top box here, like this, and you can see that's now going to force us to place a 2 here. 2, 6, 7. You can see the chaining occurring, where once we get a couple of answers and we've done all the logic that we've already done, we can actually make very, very fast progress in terms of filling in a lot of numbers very, very quickly. Okay. This cell has to be a 3. Allows us to fill in some more numbers there. So 7 and 8 into these two positions. Don't quite know the order yet. And 2 and 7 into these two positions. Again, not quite sure of the order yet. It's all going to resolve itself down here in a second. You can see we have this 3, so this has to be a 3, this has to be a 5. Scanning up the grid, this is now going to resolve all of these numbers here. 4, 8, 4, 2, 8, 7, 7, 2, 7, 9, 7, 8, 9. And that's how you do super-fiendish. I hope this is a helpful run through again. We'll continue doing these over the days and weeks, and yeah, I hope it helps you solving. Thanks for watching.